Hello, I'm Robin, and this is some highlights from Synth East 2024. Now, Synth East is a fantastic, if I say so myself, synthesizer show that's held in Norwich. This was the second time, and it occurred over the last weekend in February. And it's a collaboration between Electronic Sound Magazine and the Norwich Arts Centre, where we open Norwich up to the idea and the awesomeness of synthesizers, modular and music technology. It was a fabulous time, attended by fabulous people. Let me just give you a flavour of what that was about. So Friday night was an all-new thing. We decided to do something different, something interesting. This is very much curated by Electronic Sound Magazine, who got us access to the Morton Sububnik documentary. This was the first time it was being shown in the UK. Fantastic. Film about this old guy fiddling around with booklet stuff and bits and pieces of San Francisco tape thingamajig all the way through to booklet modular and beyond, really. And he's still performing just about these many years later. It was a fascinating documentary. Had loads of little clips of music, these fabulous visuals, and you got this sense of this man's journey, which occupied very much the classical side of music creation and the pursuit of a new music within that sphere. It was really quite fascinating. And then after that, like an awesome comedy car crash, we had this just extraordinary interview between Adam Buxton and Steve Davis.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Davis.
Steve Davis is a co-conspirator on Synth East, a friend who comes along and participates, and we know him now as the modular part of the Utopia Strong and as a modular performer, and his influence has been extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary, and so it seems perfect. I mean, Adam Buxton is a patron of the Norwich Arts Centre, and he came along to ask some penetrating questions of Steve about music, about life. I mean, actually, there was a surprising amount of snooker stories in there too, but it was a fantastic, absolutely fantastic time. And the whole place, I mean, the Friday night was sold out, so it was packed full of people, and it was a thoroughly hilarious and enjoyable time. There's no video of the evening, particularly other than little snippets on Instagram and stuff. So if you weren't there, unfortunately, you will never get to quite experience that, but it was an amazing evening. And then we finished that off with beer in the bar, and Luke Sanger played an ambient set. He's got this fascinating norms set up, which has always appealed to me. I must look into that deeper at some point. So that was Friday night. Saturday, of course, was the big event, the main event, the expo. So we converted the Norwich Arts Centre into a space for manufacturers. We had, I think, over 26 tables or some such of manufacturers showing their stuff, their modular, their synthesizers. We had community groups, we had people bringing their synthesizers. We had Robbie from the Pro Synth Network and his DX1 there. We had Mike with all of his analog bits and pieces. We had Take the Fear Out of the Gear. We had the Synth Club and EMOM, all bundled in with manufacturers from all sorts of areas of modular and synthesis. It was a fun, busy time. We had a lot more tickets than last year. We've boosted the numbers to about 200, and it was still sold out. And busy, and exciting, and noisy. It's interesting, actually, in the bar area, we gave that over to Source Distribution, who do people like Buchler and Arturia, PWM, Eventide, Osmos, that kind of thing, and they were all headphone based. So the bar area had this sense of calm about it, which was remarkable in contrast to the main hall, which was crazy. And of course, in the foyer we had Korg and Electronic Sound doing their thing throughout the day. And this seems more and more important. We had performances. Kicking us off, we had Barry, also known as Hardwired. Now, Barry runs the Norwich EMOM, has done for years, and is dedicated extraordinarily to that. And it's such a great service to provide. He sorts out the pub, he organises it, he works out the sound and the visuals, and he's the solid presence that keeps us all moving and keeps our performances going. And it's really great to publicly thank him for all the work he does with EMOM and the other people who organise EMOMs around the country. These are electronic music open mics where you can come, bring your electronics and perform. They're a fantastic and vital part of the synthesizer community. And Barry did a great little set. Fantastic. It really chilled the place out. It was really, really nice. Following on from that was Tristan Burfield. Tristan is a relatively local lad who has been making extraordinary chiptune music for years in and around Norfolk and other places. He's a regular at the EMOMs. It's great to see him and give him an opportunity to play in front of a larger crowd. And so these performances are happening right in the same auditorium as the main event. And so it's like every hour or so we have 15 minutes of entertainment. And it creates this breath to the place. It creates this break so that the manufacturers can stop talking for a few minutes, go and get a pint or something to eat and come back. And the whole place breathes and sighs and relaxes, everything calms down, and then everything goes back up again. And it creates this wonderful sort of mindful, thoughtful pulse through the day. It breaks it all up so it's not just intense, talking about synths the whole time. It has this creativity and this musicality and excitement that comes to it. And all of that excitement is really balled up in the All-Star Patch-Off. So this is a brilliant idea where we get together a bunch of modular people and force them to play together. We draw names out of a hat, two people then jam, and we enjoy that. It's improvised, it's of the moment, there's no pre-preparing or anything, they just go for it. And I hope it's something that we can continue into future years going forward. And all of these performers are giving their time voluntarily. There's no payment or star treatment or anything. We're just there because we love the idea of this community, of these synthesizers, of modular and making music. So first up in the patch off, we had myself playing with Jason Jervis. Then we had the awesome techno of Nina Richards paired up with the expressive, awesome playing of Gaz Williams. And finally, we had a superb little set from Steve Davis playing with Myla Melodies. Where else would you ever get to see such things? It's extraordinary. And also, I'd like to point out Sloan, who provided all of the visuals that went on behind us. It was fantastic. Last year we just had an overhead camera, and that was fine. But this time we had this working in of movement, of environment, of fantastic visualizations of our music, and it was all done in real time and live by Sloan, sitting over in the corner. And then, in the evening, it turned into a gig. A little bit different, a sort of a proper gig done properly, which is what the Norwich Arts Centre is all about. And so kicking that off, it was myself, Gaz and Mylar. We got together, and again, this is improvised. We hadn't really worked out what we were doing beforehand. In fact, we did try to talk about it a lot, but we just got ourselves more and more confused. And it sort of ended up with Gaz saying, well, why don't I just do some drums and we'll go from there. Totally, so I said, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I am absolutely making it up as I go. So I felt very much supported by Gaz on one side and Mylar on the other. They were providing the bedrock, and then I just faffled around in the middle. And it felt really good. It seemed to go really well. And the full version of our jam is available to go and watch and enjoy on YouTube, as are all of the patch-offs. And then after us, we had Ultramarine, who played a very cool and eclectic set.
just into a space truck.
And then to finish us off in the evening was Blancmange. I mean, remarkably, Blancmange appears to now just be Neil, the guy at the front, and then completely supported musically by Finlay Shakespeare. Our friend Finlay Shakespeare, who played his own set last year, and he was awesome. I mean, it really brings a new, modern reworking of Blancmange's music, and I think that's a fantastic combination. Sadly, Neil didn't want any filming of their set, so I've only got these little bits and clips and photos. And then on Sunday, another new thing, DIY workshops. This was supported by a nice little bunch of people. We had Bafako and Thonk providing the gear and the instruction and tuition and support, and we just chilled out in Electronic Sounds HQ. There's just enough room to fit us all in. I maudled about on my modular, nursing a bit of a hangover, while other people soldered and put these little kits together. It was a beautiful thing. It worked really well. And what I liked about it is that it was kind of separate, because these workshops can often happen at other shows, in and amongst the show, where it's noisy and there's a lot going on. Whereas we had this calm and this peacefulness to it, which I think was really very helpful to all those people making the kits. And it was great. It was a lovely way to spend some time, and for that to sort of tie the whole thing together. So we had movies, we had interviews, we had performances, we had manufacturers showing their stuff, we had DIY workshops. What on earth are we going to do next year? I don't know. I mean, the whole thing was sold out, which was just superb. I mean, I'm so grateful for the support that everybody brings, the fact that you come and you enjoy it and you soak it up. Massive thanks to all the performers who took the time out of their busy lives to come and perform and join in and be part of what was going on. It was just a fantastic weekend. I mean, I remember saying last year that it was so perfect. How could we possibly top it? And in fact, I was a little bit worried about doing it again in case it just was nowhere near as good. But heck, it was every bit as good. Every bit as good. So will there be another? Well, yeah, probably. I expect so. So that was Synth East 2024. Fabulous time. I hope to see you there next year. And in the meantime, go make some tunes.